to give everybody a little update situation here. Probably could have started at the bottom of the stairs, but window went in. It was a pain in the ass. A lot of that pain in the ass was because of Menards, because originally I gave them measurements because I don't know anything about anything, but rough estimates. I gave it from outside block, or from the inside of the block to the inside of the block. And then I realized I had a wood frame there, and so then I thought, well, maybe that's what I should do. So I called them back and asked if it was too late to change the custom order. They were like, no. Called me back with their whatever dimensions. So I called them back, and then I was like, I'm not 100% sure. I just want to make sure I was like stopping the process or whatever. And so they were like, okay, well, let me know, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, they ended up reordering the window, and I didn't, tell them to reorder the window to the specs or whatever that I gave them there. And it would have been tight if the window was made exactly how they said they were going to make it. But they ended up making it was supposed to be like 75 wide, and it was like 75 and a quarter, which completely fucked everything up. So it ended up being a real pain in the ass because I had to tear out all the wood that was out there and redo a new wood frame. The door went in good. That was kind of the first project. Still need to paint the trim and whatever on that, but ended up having to make my own, like I said, frame for the window here, and had to trim off part of the whatever it's called, the construction stuff that you nail it to, construction nailer, I don't know what the fuck it's called, but I didn't know that I was going to be getting that, and they just kind of gave me that, and that made it mildly worse. So poor experience with Menards on that one, but the basement's staying pretty dry. I got a dehumidifier, and as long as I've been keeping it elevated, it doesn't seem like it wants to switch over to the the little bucket down there. It'll keep draining into my sump pit, and then my sump pit pumps it out. So again, this is way down the road on the priority list of things to do, but the kitchen, ripped out the soffit or bulkhead, whatever. Got rid of a ton of the smell. That's where the raccoon babies were or whatever, so that was kind of a smell. But in doing so, I'm now completely open to the attic where it was the worst. But all the insulation got sucked out, and paid somebody to come and do that because it was just disturbing. And so it has a little bit of a aroma in here, but again, part of that's because it's so humid in here because there's no HVAC and whatnot. But need to get that refinished, and then finish and ripping out the bottom of this. This wall, took this out. Not really actually the wall, but just the drywall and stuff the other day. This used to be the garage, this room. So this was a doorway. So I'm trying to figure out, how much of a load-bearing wall it is. I figured since this bulkhead was here that this would have a big beam in it, but it might be hard to see. But looking in there, there's really no beam other than this like 2x4 right there in the header. So I don't know if they were just doing that to match the other ones or what, but yeah, so waiting on somebody to come help me figure out how to do that so I don't collapse the house. But it's got a hipped roof, so it's big triangular trusses, nothing, it's just completely open in the middle and runs all the way the length of the house this way. So I'm thinking that it shouldn't be load bearing, but again, I'd like to get a expert's opinion on that. All the carpet stuff's ripped out. Still need to rip out all the staples and stuff like that on the floor. The garage, if you remember, it was completely open up there, and we put drywall in the other day, and drywalling is a pain in the ass, and I didn't think or have any idea the drywall was that heavy. I ended up renting a drywall jack or lift or whatever they're called, just because I thought it'd make it a little bit easier for my buddy and I to kind of position it before we screw it. But had we not had that, this would have been a nightmare. I also moved the button for the garage door opener onto this side as opposed to this side, which was dumb. But got some lights, 5,000 lumens a piece. I got 6 of them, lights it up pretty good in here. I may end up putting more, I don't know. My ceiling is 9'10" in here, just shy of 10 feet. So I could put a lift in here, but I'm just trying to figure out if I want to put it in here. We'll see how the barns look when they get finished. We'll go over that next. But put a window in here. This one was all boarded up and jacked up. Instead of ordering a custom window this time, I just measured and got pretty close. I need to redo it because the 1x in there, I thought I was gonna have more gap at the end and I don't. So I need to pull that 1x4 out of there and put like a 1/2 inch board in there, and then that should all fit perfectly. But got pretty lucky. So at some point, this window was, not busted out and functional, so I haven't done anything with that one yet. But soon I'll go and do this. And I probably saved $100 or so by doing that, and it's a little bit easier and more manageable putting in 3 individual windows as opposed to one big ass window. Luke painted the Fuso. He's got a plan for it. Not really 100% sure what the plan is, but he painted it with a like a truck bed liner or whatever. It turned out really well, and he's a smart dude, so I'm sure he'll figure that out. But they started to come and grade the driveway. I've had a couple different ideas, and I'm going away from concreting everything at first. I'm just going to do a gravel. I have a big U-shaped driveway, so it's going to gravel all the way around. And then this used to be all grass, and I just had them dig that out and pile it over there for now, and they're gonna smash it down. It was kind of a low place in the yard. There's a couple of low places, so hopefully that works out and whatever. But that's a little less space I have to mow, so that's kind of cool. But this will all be, they're gonna put some 2s down, I think, closer to the garage, and then 53s all over here. And I think they're gonna come maybe today and dig some more. It's rained a ton, so it's been kind of a problem. But this garage, the other day, we put this back wall in. It was just held on by like literally 3 nails, a couple 2x4s, and OSB that would like flap in the wind. I've got to put some trim and stuff on there for little gaps and whatever that I have. But these 2 doors were in the small barn, and I was gonna burn them the other day, and then I thought, maybe I'll keep them for whatever. So they ended up working out here, and so it's kind of cool. It opens to the patio back there. It's big enough I could drive a car back out there if I needed to for some reason. But also the doors on the barn, there's 3 entry doors, all of them non-normal sizes, all of them different sizes. So I made a door the other day, kind of turned out fairly dope. Like, it's kind of hard to see, but it obviously doesn't fit. So I gotta get the hinges on, wait for somebody to come help me do that, and then I should be able to squeeze that thing on there. Back on the back patio, I'm going to put a deck above this. So I don't know, I love like rooftop places and whatever, so I feel like it's kind of cool to be elevated. So on each of the corners of this patio, I'm going to put 6x6s, which I've got stacked in there, which are heavy as hell. But I got those yesterday, and put 6x6 posts in here. Since they're going to be pouring concrete on this back half here, and I'm actually going to have them mimic this pad and put another like 16-foot pad here, and then I'm going to extend the barn out. So they're going to have 4 6x6s here, then I'm going to have them do 4 6x6s there, just because they're going to have an auger here and be able to help pour it for me when they're doing that. So that'll be nice. The inside of this is mud, dirt, mud, whatever you want to call it. And they're going to concrete this with 6-inch concrete. Again, all this is going to be removed at some point. Try and do it as carefully as I can, because it's like pretty cool old barn wood and shit up there. So trying to salvage that as best I can. For whatever reason, I'll probably just keep it for 1,000 years. But so again, back here, this is all going to be concreted. I'm going to do 4-inch back here. So this will all get graded out the next time they come. And then, like I said, a 16-foot box out there. And then I'm going to build a box with a tin steel roof or whatever on it from there, using all my massive 6x6s, and build it like a post frame style building back here. So yeah, I've kind of put the big pole barn idea on hold for a little while, because that was going to cost me, most quotes were like 70 grand ish, and then I got one for like 50 something. A guy, an Amish company, that built Lafayette Limo's barn that they said they were pretty happy with that. So he gave me a pretty good quote, but again, that's still 50 grand. I think, you know, I'm gonna put some money into this with the concrete and whatever, but for like a tenth of the price, or less than a tenth of the price, probably I can make this pretty nice and kind of work on insulating it and whatever. Luckily, I'm doing this all at the right time of the year where it's not cold as shit, and you know, I'll be able to use it for a while. This little barn, just waiting. I need to rip off all the siding and whatever, and I'm putting steel siding on that. Gonna make a little red barn. I need to patch some places on the roof and stuff, but this is going to be a wood shop, and it's going to hold the trailer that was in the barn, and then the big barn's going to be all for cars. See if my buddy Luke is going to put his lift in there, and then I may get a 4-post lift and either put my 4-post lift in there, or I'm going to put my 4-post lift in there. I think it would probably be better to put everything out here. We'll just kind of see after we get it cleaned out and built and see what I'm working with. But other update, the soffit and fascia, that's been the priority one since day one. I closed on this on April 11th, and it's now June 5th or 6th or something, and not 100% done, but we got it pretty done. So you know, we kind of taught ourselves how to do it via YouTube, and it was pretty simple. It was just kind of time consuming cutting each one, because you know, you can't run them long ways. You're running them all like this. So it turned out pretty well. Putting up the aluminum fascia was pretty easy. I was able to do most of that by myself because it was pretty lightweight, but putting on the wood 1x6 fascia boards was kind of a pain in the ass, so I always, you know, need to have somebody help me with that. So we finally got it boxed in. Again, the reason for that was because of animals and crap getting in to there and getting into the garage and then into the attic. So box this in as well. This was all open before, so I'm gonna have somebody come paint these posts, at least for now, or maybe there's something I can wrap them in, you know, do something else. But cut this tree back that was encroaching on the house. It's all done all the way around here. Side note on the driveway, so I can pull most of my cars in the other way. This way is like super steep, and it may be kind of hard to tell from here, but the slope on that is like pretty wicked, so I don't think that I could pull any of my cars, or wouldn't really want to pull any bikes and stuff in there. So whenever they come and, you know, grade out this side, they're gonna level that out, so both will have a nice approach to them, so we can get in and out of either one. Also probably gonna try and shave off this so water doesn't sit on this. There's kind of like a little berm on the outside, I think just from years of, you know, turning and pushing the dirt or whatever, that it's been holding water. So fascia all the way around here. It's kind of a little suspect doing it like 20 feet up above that, but I didn't die doing it. The only thing I haven't done is the fascia on here, and I think I talked about it in the previous video. Again, I don't fully understand the story. You know, this is all pretty good back here, and then this whole front row is like rotted out, and I don't know, you know, what the rhyme or reason was as to why they added this area on, but it's, I don't know, kind of goofy, and I just don't think I don't know, I'm not sure what happened, or if the slope just isn't right at the end there and water sits there and gets underneath the shingles or whatever. But the original plan was to just chop this off and then put the fascia board on there so I can get gutters on there, so I can, you know, make sure I'm doing a better job of getting water out of the basement, because a ton of it runs off the roof right down into near the basement door. And then I thought, since I only have a 1-car garage, and if I have a sports car in there or whatever and I want to park a daily driver, it's going to be outside, which sucks, because I've been parking my fucking daily driver outside for like 6 years now, but that's the price you pay, I guess. But I was going to extend this out like 4 feet. If I did that 4 feet, I could push the truck a little closer. You know, the door is close enough that you wouldn't get like wet in the rain. But if I took it out like 4 feet, I would probably need posts out here, and that's just one more thing kind of in the way. I thought about having like an angled post that would come from the bottom of there, you know, up, and I could probably engineer that somehow where that would work and it wouldn't be something that would be like on the actual concrete. But I think for time purposes and everything else, this is a shingle roof on here on the top of this thing. It probably needs to be a rubber roof or one of those self-adhered roofs. And I can do that at some other point because it doesn't leak anywhere in there now, so it's not a huge priority. It's just that front of that is all crapped up. So I think I'm going to either try and repair that front part with, you know, kind of peeling the shingles back and putting new OSB and kind of seeing what's going on, or just cut off that whole front row of all those 2x6s and call it a day. And then, I don't know, later in the summer or a year or something, I can go ahead and do the rest of it. Or I may talk to the gutter guy and see, you know, can you put it everywhere else and it not be a big deal to leave it alone for now, and I can get gutters on 90% of the house and then finish doing the aluminum fascia around there. So plans change every day. I haven't paid anybody to come do anything other than removing the attic insulation, which I'll have to put in attic insulation at some point, and then I'm paying somebody to come do this driveway stuff because I don't want to do it. So I've got some other friends that are contractor-ish people that are going to come check it out and see what they can do, and hopefully somebody can help me take that wall out and frame in the other bedroom and blah blah blah. But the money I saved by not, you know, they wanted like $1,200 to do that window and it cost me like $330. So that pays, you know, a month and a half of the mortgage on this house. I'm, you know, also paying for my other house, but the money that I'm saving is from not having somebody do it is paying both the mortgages. So it's been an experience so far. I've learned a lot of like random things, but I don't know, it's been fun, and hopefully next time I'll have this driveway done, the barn concreted, and get to working on that.